Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dota Pit Season 5. We are now into the playoffs for China, and we're in fact in the grand finals. It is going to be Newbee taking on IG best of 3 series. The winner of this match will advance to the LAN and compete for $125,000 in prizes in early 2017. I'm LD. I have the honor to be joined here by Merlini. Ben, how you doing?
I have not had the pleasure of casting Chinese Dota in a while. You had all the honors during the regional qualifiers for
Such an
Boston
honor.
Major.
Perfect World actually cooperated. You know, we got to actually watch the games. Interesting to see IG Classic, I guess you can call them, being here in the finals as they fell a bit short in the qualifiers. IG Vitality was actually the team that looked a lot stronger out of the IG squads. And they do face Newbee at Direct Invite, a team that performed quite well at MDL. I definitely view Newbee as the favorites come into this series, but that said, who knows what could happen. IG's definitely improved a lot since the roster started, and a big part of that has been Burning's willingness to adapt. As originally, I would say he was quite a weak link for the team.
And all these newbie teams are, or all these like young teams are doing better than their old ones.
Yeah, it seems like it's a reverse of like the, it used to be of the big star names and like you're the top team. Now, like the DK days maybe, but now the more recognizable names you have, the worse you are. You're better off with all unknowns. So we'll take a look at the draft here, see how things are developing. First overall pick, Sand King. Newbee with the quick axe juggernaut reply. And then the IO grab by IG. And I mean, definitely some different bans, even from what I was seeing in the China qualifiers. Granted, I did not cast IG at all. But the Tinker gets banned out here in the first phase. Lifestealer was pretty popular for certain teams. IG Vitality liked to run it a lot as well. Then the Kano getting removed by IG, which is like a somewhat common pick. But
3 of their 4 games with Cuddle,
yeah.
it seems. And then the last couple of games for IG, it looks like Tinker has been picked up. Yeah, definitely unusual. Usually it's...
And what's interesting to me is like Batrider's been ignored, and Batrider's been such a go-to like first phase pick for the Chinese teams, especially. They really prioritize him, but they ban Tinker. Batrider gets left in the pool, and they don't even want him.
We got game sounds?
Oh, we do not have game sounds. Thank you very much.
Nice. It's like something's missing here.
What would I do without you, Ben?
Not listen to game sounds.
I normally notice once the game starts, but yeah, during the draft, not so much.
I got to get into the game by hearing the little birds tweet.
Is that what you wake up to in the morning? Just
No,
the Dota soundtrack on loop?
I actually do not. It's when I was back home, it was just utter silence. There's like nothing.
What?
There's just
How's that possible?
I-
Isn't the Deep South like overrun with insects?
There in the morning it's not. At night there's
At
a lot of
night.
cicadas, but in the morning it's like super quiet.
I went to K-pop Toastis' wedding in Alabama recently, and I could not live in the South, dude. It is too humid. There are too many bugs. His now brother-in-law, we were staying at this hotel, like right by the water, beautiful view, sunset. It was wonderful, like awesome venue. But he left his door open. There's no screen, and the lights were on. And literally, I kid you not, like 10 minutes later, the room was infested. Like you needed an exterminator. It was that bad. Fumigation. I don't know. I don't know how people live there. Frankly, I guess they don't leave their doors open.
You
But
definitely do not leave the door open. That is
mistakes were made. But yeah, we don't really have too many insects here in California because it's a desert and everything's dead. And I like it that way. I like it that way very much. Happy Halloween, guys. But yeah, Rubik gets picked up here by Newbee. Very nice against the Sand King if you can steal that Burrow Strike. Rubik has been quite popular for certain teams in certain regions. I'd say China's probably the region where he's most popular. We used to see Alliance prioritize this here a lot. I think there's one Western. Liquid's been running a mid a lot for Miracle. But that's like a kind of a carry Rubik, I guess. But most other teams seem to ignore him or don't really value him at all.
Some teams like him a lot versus the Sand King. He is kind of a Sand King of your own, but the instant stun on a range support is very, very nice. Other than that, I don't really see him being like extremely good versus IG's lineup. It's not a common pick versus IO is the thing, just because like yeah you can lift one, but you're still generally going to get boned, and he doesn't have that much burst, which is generally like you either want utility to separate the Wisp and his partner, or you want a lot of burst to
Just
kill
blow
one
it
of
up,
them.
basically.
Yeah. But alternatively, it depends on how they play the Wisp. If they just use them as a mana and an HP battery, then Rubik is pretty great because then the Fade Bolt can stop the push.
Yeah, and obviously Rubik not very mobile, so if he does get caught by that duo, he's almost certainly going to go down here. I guess the what is it called? Null Field is kind of nice to have against this lineup. There's a lot of magic damage so far.
And it's definitely underrated.
But Newbee, into the Bounty Hunter they go. So good way to track the IO, to keep eyes on the relocates potentially. And I mean, a very aggressive draft here at the Accent Jug. It feels like a face rush type of lineup. Actually, something we saw a lot of from Newbee at MDL, and it worked pretty well. They had solid results there. They didn't win the event, but they made a good showing, and it was mostly on the back of this type of like run at you style offense.
The Rubik allows them to maybe try lane too, and with a Bounty Hunter, especially like IO Disruptor, you see those and you're like, we can own this lane. That lane is going to be very, very weak if they don't have a really strong safe lane farmer. Like if it's Luna or something, I would just try and walk all over that if I were Newbee. The Bounty Hunter is surprisingly good versus a Sand King. Like he's a very elusive hero, very difficult to kill, and you generally just don't have enough lockdown to kill him before he burrows away or dodges with Sandstorm. But Bounty Hunter actually makes it a lot simpler. But I used to have a lot of trouble versus Bounty Hunter playing Sand King. However, that was back in the day when you would max Sandstorm. With Caustic going 3 melee heavy could also be a little dangerous for Newbee.
Yeah, it feels like Sand King could potentially have a very explosive laning stage, and I guess the other thing is like Sand King obviously if he's jungling isn't very good against Bounty, but this most likely is a laning Sand King with possibly even the IO helping him out. We don't really obviously they already have their supports, the IO, the Disruptor, and against 3 melee heroes, I think as you pointed out, like it could be a really good Sand King game in the laning stage.
Is it mid Sand King? I think it's mid Sand King.
Versus Jug, probably. I guess maybe something else. Maybe if not entirely committed as far as their lanes go. I've seen the Sand King IO dual lane off lane a lot. That's the other main option. Could be like a Timber.
Oh yeah, Timber mid. They want to pair it versus the X. Timber versus X is definitely the matchup that you want, and Sand King versus Jug is also the matchup that you want if you can manage to get both of those. Those are it's an ideal world, so you may see some like lane shuffling. If it were NA, we would see some hero shuffling too.
So Luna does get removed by Newbee. I think recognizing IG do not take objectives right now. They can kill people, but they can't take Roshan. They can't really take towers. So we'll try to get logged out of Dota here. Get your shit together, LD. Pretty sure.
They don't have any anti-morph. Morph might be like their carry of choice. Ursa might be pretty good versus all the melee as well.
They banned the Dusa. I guess they don't have the best single target burst.
And I don't think they can end the game early. So
good call on the morph.
And they don't have any anti-morph, like nothing. But Rubik's, again, pretty good versus the Morphling. I think he is one of the best supports, actually, in terms of like team fighting, but maybe not killing him. So Newbee have one core left to deal with a Morphling.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like they can't just grab a lion or something. It does really need to be a core here. Generally, when we see Morphling picks like these, something like a Morphling, you're either looking to just push early before he comes online, or you're looking for really reliable disable so you can actually gank him.
Let's just go like I don't know. Ooh,
there's
yeah.
your push. Shadow Fiend Jug. Look at this.
That's
decent Roshan potential. It is a ranged damage dealer against 2 melee cores, and an IO tends to be up close. Morphling tends to have relatively low HP.
And their supports can't punish a Shadow Fiend. That is very important.
What if they like dual lane mid though? Can't they punish him then?
If they dual lane mid, they just send the Rubik or the Bounty Hunter. Like I think any one of the dual lanes that Invictus Gaming will throw at mid will be weaker than Newbee's because they'll have a melee there. I guess they could do Wisp Morph. Wisp Morph would actually, I think, be my choice because then you have the more favorable matchups in the side lane. But yeah, I think you just put IO more because Shadow Fiend I think is like the only hero of all the cores that cannot go in one of the side lanes. Every single one of the other 5 can. So I think because that's pretty much your only guarantee, then that's how you play versus it.
All right. How much Shadow Fiend have we seen in this patch? I feel like I have hardly seen him at all.
I've seen him a couple times, like I can count it on one hand.
I'm trying to look it up, but computer's being slow. Player's gonna hop in and out of the game, try and
Newbee have
sort
played
out
it.
some ping or connectivity issues, I imagine.
Last time they played it was a couple weeks ago, but it was with a Drow lineup, and he went Lance HOD BKB build with the Shadow Blade thrown in there. Not bad,
Oh,
not
Lance is
bad.
actually really good on Shadow Fiend. Because he needs that strength. It gives him the little more survivability with the extra attack range. It's actually a pretty good item for him.
He also has a lot of magic burst versus the Timber. I think that's
They've
pretty
run it
important.
a lot actually. I was like, did they really run an MDL? But that was not the last season of MDL, but the one before that. So recent games with it, 1, 2, 3 games, and they are 2-1. Not bad.
Some people like it versus the Wisps too, because the Requiem is like very, very strong versus like most of Wisp partners, like Morphling, Tiny. They all have like a lot of high base damage, so the Requiem kind of owns their damage. Really
He's
hard.
also a BKB carry against lineup that's like all nuke damage until the late game when Morphling gets farmed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's like amazing versus Wisp, but they don't really have too many ways to stop his Requiem this game. He can just sit there and channel it. If he gets BKB, absolutely no way.
Well, SCCC, definitely one of the new gods of mid from China. He's been very impressive in the games I've seen him. Pretty like disciplined player, I would say, compared to some of the flashier faces that have come out of the region. CTY comes to mind as someone who is always going for those boomer bust big plays and crazy item builds. But this guy is very stable from what I've seen.
So looking at Newbee, they smoked. They gathered at the bottom of their base, but it took them quite some time to do so. So by the time they actually reached this side of the map, IG might have already laid their foundation of wards and backed off. Face Invis right about to run out.
Uh-oh, they have gotten vision here with the Bounty Hunter. Kaka almost in range. They get the little poke with the Orb of
How was that
Venom.
melee?
That was like 300 range, and Io's going to be there to try and get him out, but he also tethers himself into range. Looks
Oof.
like he will survive.
That was close. Sometimes the Rubiks really like boots first or even windlace first, just for situations like that. But Kaka, sacrificial support that he is, does not have any greedy items.
I was really expecting that, like, Oof just barely helping them to secure a kill.
I thought it would too.
Oof apparently not as broken as it needs to be. So Timbersaw going to be mid against the Shadow Fiend, and it looks like Faith is going to be helping him out.
He doesn't have a
Have you
quelling.
seen this matchup much?
I
How
think
does this go?
SF should do completely fine. Their damage at level 1 is like almost the same. 49 versus 52.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. And then, yeah, he can PMS and get procs, but like the Whirling Death doesn't really reduce his damage that much because he has a lot of plus damage from Necromastery, and like you don't even have to right click the Timbersaw that much. He will have a hard time staying in lane at levels 3 and 5. But Oka,
Meanwhile, he doesn't get the tether movement, just the straight tether feed. IG give up an easy first blood here in the bottom lane, and you can see the Newbee game plan. They feel like they have two at least even solo lanes, if not straight up wand lanes, with KP getting the Axe versus Sandcane, and as you mentioned, the Shadow Fiend Timbersaw mid being pretty decent for Shadow Fiend at worst, and so they look to go aggressive here. Ben, you mentioned it's not a great anti-Morphling game, but that's assuming he gets online, and aggro trilating him is one way to shut him down.
they are taking full advantage of the weakness of the supports, though, and I think it all started with their decision to smoke into the jungle and then aggressively try. They had this game plan from the very beginning of the game, and yeah, IO gave up first blood, but generally that's what you do as an IO. not give up first blood, but take a lot of damage early.
Generally, your game plan is to feed.
You want to take a lot of damage early so that you can heal up your partners, and you get the I don't know, it's like triple heal, not triple heal, 2.5 heal. But it's more so in like 2-on-1 or 2-on-2 lanes because generally they don't have the burst to kill you. But Disruptor gets lifted onto bottom, and they don't have the spin with the boots, so they will not go for that kill.
Yeah, do want to point out Radiant have a sentry down the lane, but this is also a sentry they're not placing towards mid to, potentially protect OP later on. Shadowfeed, not the. I think he actually is like decent kill potential in Timber once he gets level 5 to 7 if the right gank comes in. But I guess Bounty's not particularly good against him.
Yeah, I think if he picks up 1 in chain, which would help him survive a lot versus the Bounty Hunter, it might cost him too much in the lane. So I'm not terribly sure about how that's going to go for them. And on the Radiant side, they do not have any more detection. No dust, no sentries, and Faith will be pleased to see that.
Yeah, they do have a sentry down mid for now, but already over halfway towards expiration. And we're going to see Boboka just abandon that bottom lane. He roams all the way up towards top, where KP currently sits 11-1 up against a 5-0 Sandcade, who gets called under the creep wave. 1 spin, 2 spin. Decent RNG there. Not amazing. And I guess this is the IO. The IO is trying to respond to this, but the aggression so far really going KP's way.
Yeah, I think Axe wins that war because you can actually just walk out of the range for the caustic, at least at low levels. But like if you're trying to dodge the counter helix, you're just gonna miss so much CS.
If you ever get caught under the creep wave and he gets lucky spins, could well be a kill.
Yep. And he went for boots, so he's actually out of region right now, if you don't count Fairy Fire.
So now Morphling burning, not having the best of times. Only 10-2 to the 19-3 of U9. And with just a Disruptor in the neighborhood, actually even Disruptor abandoning the lane, Q's going to head towards mid for the moment. Maybe he just wants to plant that ward or try and contest the rune. It basically is a total sack of the Morphling moving forward. They are getting crushed in the farm department here.
Yeah, they have to try and rely on stacks, I believe, but the thing is, like, they can't even take out stacks that well. Maybe if Timbersaw comes and goes, but you don't really want him farming your stacks. You want him to be playing as aggressively as possible, at least with the lineup that they're giving, and they need space creation for the morph. It's not an AFK farm 15-minute Bloodstone or whatever your excellent timing is going to be for that. Especially with a bounty hunter in the game, able to get as much vision as possible. You might go for a chicken snipe over here. I believe he sees the chicken maybe coming in, and they don't have vision back there.
Yeah, Speed Burst was already used, so maybe a little kill potential, but meanwhile Q creeping in mid.
He has raindrops. It's very difficult to get this kill.
And Shadowfiend also parked up on his high ground for now.
Yeah, they both have raindrops.
Yeah. So they just leave Burning alone bottom, but actually not really that easy to kill for this particular duo.
No. They can't kill the Morphling. They can easily kill the Wisp or Disruptor, lift and a spin, but the Morphling can just Strength Morph or just wave out, and later on replicate out. So yeah, I don't really think he's scared at all. He just needs to get his levels so that he can actually split push and farm a little bit faster with the waveform.
Yeah, so after that first blood and some superior lanes, Newbee already up about 1,700 gold, 500 experience. Even the creeps, though, turning against Bernie, and the crit comes in. Maybe U9 can kill him. Oh.
With the phase boost, though, it makes the Morphling, like, it's really hard to actually CS as a Morphling, because he'll just right-click you every time. He has a huge move speed advantage right now. But Wisp is trying his best to make sure that the lanes are not going super poorly. And I would actually say that right now it's going pretty decently. Sand King's only 9 CS behind the Axe, that's pretty good. And Timbersaw is only just slightly behind the Shadow Fiend, which is also pretty good. Morphling hasn't died yet and has decent CS. So all in all, I would say this is maybe a slight victory in the early game for IG.
The Sentry Ward has been planted down, and Faith, he's not happy about that. Starts wailing away at double XS, and that's Triple C moving into all kinds of multi-character names in this game. But doesn't seem like anyone's going to die. So that leaves OP in the mid lane to farm. And he's pretty much there with the Shadow Fiend.
If Burning gets this wave, doesn't want to go for it.
Yeah, not level 6 for U9, so there definitely is kill potential and not too much risk to a dive there. On the side of Newbee, of course, they are ahead right now, and I guess we are looking at some early big items. So KP, Blink Dagger coming relatively soon. For the Shadow Fiend, it looks like Treads, I imagine, coming out. What is the Shadow Fiend build you'd like to see this game, Ben? You mentioned like you went for the Dragonlance kind of tanky build last time, but
I think if he farms well, he can get Shadow Blade first, and then they can just destroy the Wisp. It depends on how IG farms. I think you can take it a little bit easy until you actually see how their lanes develop and see what the Morphling goes. Like, Morphling could go for a greedy build. I've seen Burning not go Linken's first. So if he goes Linken's first, it could be a slower game from there, or like BO3 first is even slower, I would say, in terms of actually him being able to fight. But with the Wisp, they might actually play like a way more up-tempo game.
well, that was a close call. Bottom lane, Juggernaut. I believe Spin had already been used, or it ended.
Now he Spin TP'd out.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
'Cause
he
I didn't. It didn't seem to have the animation on my screen, but
Oh, yeah,
I did hear it.
It was
so
really he was really close to
Yeah.
dying to Morph, but
does barely make it out.
Burning has his nice and peaceful lane now. Just him alone.
Burning hitting creeps feels like that's an old school story right there.
That's what you want as a Morphling. Just nobody else in your lane and no one dying in your other lanes.
I mean, is Newbee really going to give that to him for very long though? Like, I can't imagine that they sit back more than to like the 12 to 15 minute mark before going for some offense. Speaking of which, they get the lift here on double XS, and he does burrow out. KP unable to find the call, and they bait U9 into the tower, looking for the turn. They do have Epi. He walks right into the call, but OP is here as well, and so the backup comes through. Chakram at the ready. Burrow to follow, and KP down he goes. They're going to look for a bit more. Hastern up on the timber. He starts to dive. Kaka does have stick charges, and seems like he was trying to bait as well. So back off in the end. That does leave the Shadow Fiend alone mid. And Faith going to catch up bottom lane, but good rotation there by the Timber. Finds a key kill on an Axe who does not have his Vanguard just yet, and they're not done. U9 with the Mango, though, is a threat to dive in here, as he's also about to hit level 6. Very close. He begins to spin onto double XS. Now turning with the Epi. It's a bait, and he burrows in, crushes U9, almost getting Kaka in the process. He doesn't have the mana just yet. Can Boboka give him any? Does have the tether available. Auto attack, caustic slow, and the orbs. Gets the job done by KP. Now looking for the double dunk, and he's going to get it too. Chop number 1, chop number 2. See you later. It's a bloodbath top, Ben, and in the end, a 2 for 2.
A lot of small things happened there. Juggernaut was not level 6 for a really long time. Like when he TP'd out bottom, he was at like maybe 80% of the way through, and he just didn't get it before they went on a Sand King. And then they kept going on a Sand King, but that just let Wisp just do whatever he wanted, which is just heal and get as much damage as he wants with the spirits out. And he almost gets a kill on Faith with a relocate, but he misses his dust, and he will narrowly miss his balls.
Oh. Some things get taken out of context a little too well. You see Q grabbing a DD rune bottom, or sorry, Faith grabbing one against Q, who unfortunately does have the kinetic field. Should be able to make it out, but
oh, they smoked.
heavy pressure already.
I think the
Roche.
They saw that smoke with the observer ward, but it was like close to the edge of the ward, so maybe they didn't.
Oh, they're gonna get the position here too. Moving around onto OP. Boboka is behind him, and relocate on cooldown for the moment. Baiting with SCCC, and then the Requiem comes through. No relocate save. Dunk number 3 as Newbee continue their axe rampage down the middle lane. 4 kills unanswered here after giving up those 2 top.
And that's a really unfortunate ward placement by them too. Like this ward like caught, like the heroes were at the edge of the ward, and then when they smoke, you don't actually note that they smoked, because like if they're in full ward vision, they disappear out of the mini-map. It's really obvious that they smoked, but unless you had your camera there or you were like really paying attention to the mini-map, it just looked like they walked out of vision of the ward, and then they were not prepared for that mid lane. It at least did not seem like they were prepared, but sometimes the wards can be your downfall if you're not looking closely.
Well, Newbee still no level 6 on the Bounty Hunter. That's the good news here for IG, but in spite of that, they already do trail by about 3,000 gold, 1,500 experience. Mainly waiting on the Axe Blink and whatever that first Shadow Fiend item is, which it will in fact be a Shadow Blade, so very offensive build for him. Oh, this is big though. Kaka stealing the level 4 burrow.
Yep, that is rough. At least Sand King picked up 1 level early in Sandstorm. You actually don't see this too often. A lot of the Sand Kings that I have watched against the Rubik have just gone 4-0, 4-1. And then at level 10, you have your Sandstorm, but by then Rubik has been level 6 for quite some time generally and has done a lot of damage with the Max Sandstorm or the Epicenter, both of which are glorious to have on the Rubik. Your worst spell to have is level 1 Sandstorm by a large margin.
And Rubik suddenly gets really good burst damage. You combine this with the Fade Bolt, and he's got, I mean, what is it, like almost 500 nuke damage before reduction?
And not to mention like 4 seconds of disable. And it was a tough call by Newbee to see who to give their tome to. They actually gave it to the Rubik, I believe, instead of the Bounty Hunter. And Bounty Hunter, normally you're like, oh, Trek is what I need, but he is the one who can actually leech safer in the lane because he's much less at risk of dying, and they will find the IO, and he just gets blown up.
Oh, snap, and now they're going to look for double XS as well. Kaka does not have a stun to cancel his TP. Can KP get in range through the trees? The call, ooh! It looked like he actually caught him, but the teleport completed just in the nick of time. I believe he was in the AoE.
They were so fortunate to not lose 2 there.
And all the while, Shadow Fiend just AFK farming. Morphling is, I guess, the trade, but, you know, historically Shadow Fiend just has a much faster tempo than Morphling and obviously is a better flash farmer, so I'm a little worried if IG are going to be able to weather this upcoming storm that is about to hit them.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go late, but also do you really want to fight into the Bounty Hunter with the Trek right now and the Rubik with the level 4 Burrow Strike? Like, all these are just not great positions for them. They relocate onto the middle lane, and they will get the...
Oh man,
goodness.
Almost kills Bobo. God, that was a little hate parade.
At least they were prepared.
Though.
They had the nicely placed Sentry and the Dust for him, just in case. But he is the highest net worth in the game, and buying more time for Morphling, and I think that's what you do. You don't split up, you don't give them easy pick-offs with the Bounty Hunter and the Rubik, and you kill their highest net worth hero if at all possible.
Yeah, we are going to see an insurance policy here as, well, we're not going to see that kill mid, that's for damn sure.
Oh, another person's dead.
But a double dunk for KP, as he is, what was that, like 6 kills for him? 5 kills out of 8.
Well,
they got an X problem, man.
At least Rubik's Burrow Strike is almost about to end, and he didn't steal it again before killing the Sand King. That is the only thing going slightly well for IG, barring Morphling's farm. But he is going to go for a Lincoln, so like he's not going to be
fight ready
for some time.
S-triple-C deleting Boboka.
They can't split up.
That 0, or sorry, now 1 armor IO against the Shadow Fiend with the Shadow Blade, just no match.
The Disruptor is also in a lot of trouble versus that, so is a Timbersaw. Timbersaw can easily die just to Requiem +1 raise if positioned correctly, and like they are going to be in trouble soon because like even in team fights it's going to be a big problem because Axe has the blink, so like blink call Requiem, even if it's not right on top of them, it's still going to be devastating for them. They really cannot relocate offensively into a team fight if the Axe is not controlled in the team fight.
The cool kind of synergy here for Newbee as well is they have so much damage from their cores, and then you combine that with the tower advantage and the supports of IG having a bad start, and then on top of that, they're up against Bounty, so they have to buy all these extra sentries. They just have no defensive items. They're incredibly squishy, and that means likely a lot of easy track gold heading into the mid game. So
or it could be an easy Roche gank if they walk around at the right time. However, they don't have good ward set up. Just one eyeing Kaka, and Kaka is facing towards Roche, so they know that.
And look at that positioning from Fate. The dust gets popped, but he's on the high ground. He's already got the track out. KP can look for a big call here. It's not really the best one. Relocate coming out. Static Storm committed to try and protect him as he makes his way out. U9 still holding the Omni burning, going to be able to strength morph and make it out. Newbee still hanging around in the middle of the river. The IO's going to be coming back about an inch away from where he was previously. Kaka stealing the Sandstorm. Omni slash cuts him down. Make it 2 with the Timber also falling to KP simultaneously. A big cloud of blood in the mid lane.
That was such a sick play by the Axe. I don't know if you had a camera on it, but he was like getting chased by the Timber, and Timber was looking to burst him right next to the trees. And then as he approaches the trees, he blinks backwards right on top of him and just dunks him on the tower. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, I was busy watching IO getting massacred, so.
Jeez, that Wisp though. Faith with the plays. He just had the perfect positioning right there. Like they can't initiate on him on the high ground. Like even if Sand King like has vision on him, it's still like a very difficult kill. I think they have to get like a Timber to throw his Chakram and Morphling to waveform up there. And even then, if they do that, the Axe will get like a 3-man call if they want to do that. And then the supports are isolated down the cliff, which will leave them very vulnerable to Shadow Fiend. So like with the smoke pop and with the positioning that IG had, there was almost no way for them to win that fight.
So Burning, after getting the early Perseverance, he feels compelled to go back into a Dragonlance, which obviously is going to delay the Lincolns a lot.
That's fine. I think they need mid-game items. You do not want to take it late versus Jug, Axe, and Shadow Fiend, especially with the way the farm's going.
And Track Gold.
And they're not going to win fights if he just has like Perseverance and an Ultimate Orb. He just won't have enough damage. He needs to be able to right-click people down because they are liking damage right now because Sand King is falling behind in terms of everything.
Oh, it certainly sounds bleak. He does have this blink, though. But already Rubik with 1,300 gold and the Arcane Boots. At this rate, Kaka is going to be a full-fledged blinking Sand King in short order.
Ooh,
Burning. Nice deny. And yeah, see you later, buddy. Off to the bottom lane.
The Rubik also hasn't had his skill no field yet. He's just all-out offensive, just knowing that they can get kills again and again, and SCCC doesn't have to go BKB yet, it seems, but he will because he has Aegis, and it is a safe play versus their mass magic damage lineup. BKB owns them. They have nothing on BKB.
They have Dragonlance Morphling right clicks. Yeah, it's basically it.
Once he gets Scotty, maybe like he can start contesting, but that's going to be like 20 minutes to come. Say.
Alrighty, Newbee. They're going to chip away here at the top lane. The Blink Burrow comes in. Axe with the counterplay. I believe Io also might be able to get here in time for a reload cadet. Never mind, just kidding. Not even close as KP finds yet another kill. Nearly a Yule Scepter done on top of all this. So another way to interrupt that relocate defensive play, and also a great setup for the call. Newbee will take the tower. They're already going for Rex. I mean, we talked about the tempo of Shadow Fiend and Jug, but it's normally not this ridiculous. Now another kill. Q going to go down and Stilly buying back. A call and a dunk. And they will secure an additional track. He'll combine that with the Requiem. Make it 4. It's 5. KP's out of control. This man can't be stopped. He brings down the entire enemy team. They only lose the Aegis. Time for round 2 as Triple C almost has his completed BKB, and U9 hacking away here at the melee Rex. They're going for the jugular with OP dying again. The epicenter, oh, it might get one. Shadow Fiend dead, but U9 spins it off, and they will get the Rex. They look for more. The track, the dive, the dunks again and again. He's beyond godlike and shows no signs of slowing down. Newbee just thoroughly outclassing IG in this game number 1.
It all started with the Sand King play. It looked like he kind of suicided there, but he thought he could get away with a Burrow strike in and then blink out. And then you get some free damage on creep, but there was a healing ward there already, so it was a pretty high-risk play. It was really Kaka with a very fast reflexes on the telekinesis that sealed them that kill and led to that eventual bloodbath that will set IG back millennia.
By the way, Kaka, I mentioned Blink Dagger. Forget about that. He's already got an Ogre Club 2,000 gold. Are we going to see that Ags coming out nice and early? I sure hope so. And, oh, by the way, he's still in Strength Morph, so now a casual 2,000 HP Rubik against a magic damage lineup, and he's got the pointed null field. This guy's a beefcake.
0 agility. He has 0 armor, though, but it doesn't matter. It's not like we're really going to be right-clicking him that often.
He still has 10. Yeah, he's got plus 10.
But I don't see plus 10 on him.
Huh? Plus 10.
Oh. 0 armor.
Oh, armored. Sorry. Yeah. My brain is not cooperating. But, yeah, they're in good shape here, man. That's just the Rubik. He's their least farmed hero. Bounty Hunter with a mechanism and an earn complete. Shadow Fiend, BKB online against, as we've talked about, basically an all magic damage lineup with no real answer for BKB in the mid game, and Newbee are going to continue to press the offense here.
Oh, they were so close to popping that smoke with their own, but they will miss it. And Dyer has used scan. Will not hit on anyone. However, Burning is really close. Really close by, and they saw him with the Observer
Oh,
Ward.
he does have Boboka behind him. Ideally, they'd like to gank that IO if possible. KP can interrupt the tether out. Is he going to go for it? Is there a relocate? No, they'll let him make it away. Did have the Yule Scepter.
But he's going to relocate back onto
Are we going to see
there.
round 2?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Burning. Not looking so hot right now. Requiem just slaughters the Wisp. The ball of light gets snuffed right out. And now on to double XS, who just gets chunked down by Shadow Fiend auto attacks. A quick and decisive double kill. More track hold into the coffers of Newbee. Not that they need it, as they go for the roughly 25-minute win here. And it looks pretty over, Ben. There's now a hood up on Faith. We're going to see Kaka's Ags any moment. The racks are falling. The late game looks better for Newbee, and they won't even need the late game at this rate. Moving on to Bernie now. Good call with the Blade Mail as well. They'll lift him up, toss him back. They do have a stolen Epicenter. I think you'd rather have the Burrow Strike, but certainly is a cute spell to have in your arsenal potentially, as Bernie tries to keep them at arm's length. OP. Getting stunned though. Rubik making the plays with the stolen Adaptive Strike, and that heavy strength morph ensures a very long duration stun. So he forces them back with ease. Support Rubik starting to feel like a carry here with 17 assists out of and 1 kill out of 21 total, excuse me. So pushing like 90% there. Burning, force back, track there. Blink, burrow through, no Epicenter available, and thank you very much, I'll take that, Kaka says, and his burrows proving again to be more effective. The GGs come out, a dunk to really rub some salt in the wound. Newbee just beating the crap out of IG.
Brutal game indeed from Newbee. And I think one thing that IG could have done better is swap the lanes up earlier. I suggested perhaps like a Wisp Morphling in the mid lane to maybe secure Morph's early game a little bit more, but like the supports just had to go do too much. I think the Wisp played pretty well in the early game by helping out Morph on bottom and then the Sand King on top, but the X got a lot, the Sand King just died too much, and they weren't able to move around. Their lineup just felt like it was lacking a little oomph and always needed a few extra minutes before they were able to make their move. And of course, the smoke pop by Faith at the Roche Pit. That was...
Yeah, his positioning was so good there. I mean, even if he dies, no big deal,
Yeah.
but up on the high ground like that, got the track off and lives like throughout the entire fight.
Yeah.
So with that, pretty one-sided victory here by Newbee. Could be a quick best of 3 if they come back this strong in game 2. If you had to change one thing for IG, you mentioned swapping up the lanes. Like, are you unhappy with the draft at all, or do you think it was more just the execution here?
I think some of it was a draft. Like they had a lot of ways to kill the Wisp, and it really depended on them having a good early game because Morphling, as strong of a carry as he is, couldn't carry late game versus these 3 heroes, especially if they can't win their lanes really hard. So I think they just need to be more surprised.